So the first cool thing I got recently is I got this book today. I was going out for drinks with a friend, and that friend was running late, and so I popped into a bookstore that I've been to before many years ago, but I completely forgot about it, and then I walked in and I was like, I've been here and it's the coolest place ever. It feels like when you walk in, you're being transported into like a little fairies cove, like you're in what was that video game? The Tinkerbell Pixie Hollow. It feels like you're in Pixie Hollow. It's the coolest thing ever. And I got a book and I got a pin that has a heart and it says latex, like heart latex. And then I got a magnet that says like something like a feminist thing, like something about abortion rights. And I lost those on my way home. So that's shitty, but I still got this book and I'm reading it, called Erotic Power, an exploration of dominance and submission. Do you guys hear that? That was like, it's definitely fireworks. Definitely fireworks. I just got a text from my roommate who's setting off fireworks on a Sunday. LOL. Anyways, yeah, so this is a book all about dominant women and submissive men, and the psychological profiles of men and women who seek out these types of relationships. And it's from like the 70s, I think, I think it's from the 70s. So it has that really fun, like, Freudian, like, psychoanalysis, like, psychosexual sort of thing to it, which is always fun. I always find a lot of fun in reading those types of books, like the, like, post, women's lib, sexual revolution, like, psychological analyses. I think that's, like, a really fun, I'm reading The Bell Jar right now as well, so that's also, like, Sylvia Plath's psychosexual, so I'm excited. It's an interesting read, and it was only $10, so not too bad. Next thing I got this at a record store. No, I got this at a queer bookstore. Yes, that's where I got this. Look at this little lady. Look at this little lady on my lighter. That's how cool I try to be every day. I'd like to be put on a lighter someday. Wait. And then at that same bookstore, I got this really cool notebook for songwriting. Look at this. Look at how cool this is. And then it, like, opens up. And then all the songs that I'm yet to write, all the poems I'm yet to write, all the little thoughts that I'm yet to write are gonna go in here. And then at that same bookstore, I got this book that I'm very excited to read, called How to Tell When We Will Die, on Pain, Disability, and Doom. I'm very excited to read this book. It's all about disability and ableism and the ways it reframes illness as both a biological and social experience. The author argues that under capitalism, we must reach for the revolutionary act of caring for ourselves and others. Drawing from their experiences with America's Byzantine healthcare system and considering archetypes that they call the psychotic woman, the freak, and the hag in charge, the author offers a bracing indictment of the politics that exploit sickness, relying on and fueling ableism to the detriment of us all. In doing so, Hedva, who's the author, Hedva's debut collection radically reimagines a world where care and pain are symbiotic and implores us to remember that illness is neither an inconvenience nor an inevitability, but an elemental part of being alive. Now, I just saw The Fountain by Darren Aronofsky. I just saw a screening of it, and that is also all about, like, the ways that we view death and illness in the 21st century, like in the world that we live in with contemporary medicine and capitalism and living in a privatized healthcare system by and large. so, and I work in healthcare with a lot of sick and disabled people. This is a sort of a new job for me. And so just, I talk to these people every single day, and I try to guide them through, insurance and various doctors. And it's so humiliating, the way that we treat aging, specifically people who are close to death. Like old people. I work with a lot of old people. It's really just humiliating, the way that we treat these people. And so it says a lot about the world we live in and the values we have and the way we treat our elders. And because I work with people with disabilities, I largely work to help people, like older people. But once in a while in my caseload, I will get like a 35-year-old who is like gravely disabled and needs, I work with a lot of I coordinate home health aides basically. So usually when you think of like who needs a home health aide, that's going to be an older person who can't really walk that well. But every once in a while in my caseload, I come across like a 35-year-old with like some disability that requires them to need a home health aide and various other accommodations for the rest of their lives, and so it's truly just really astounding. And that speaks to my own like ignorance, right? Of course we know that disabled people exist, and any one of us could become disabled at any time. That is the true equalizer, is I could get hit by a car tomorrow and then I'm disabled, right? And then all of a sudden I'm the person in a wheelchair who can't get around because there's no ramps, right? I'm the person that people are treating in just this really strange way. We treat people who are close to death, not even just close to death, but people who remind us of our own mortality. We treat them so weird because the whole thing we're trying to do right now with capitalism is to escape our own mortality, right? Think about AI, the modern Prometheus. Our whole goal is to just not be human. And so these people who are so gravely human and just are so in their own bodies, right? To be disabled is to be really aware of your own body, and I don't want to say be a captive of your own body, but your body's there and it's telling you, it's dictating a lot of what you do. And a lot of us who are typically abled try to ignore that part of ourselves, to our own detriment. That's why people develop autoimmune disorders. That's why people have psychotic breaks, is because the body does keep the score, right? But we live in a world, us typically able people live in a world that's designed for us, and so we don't really have to deal with any of those consequences, those bodily consequences, until we're old and no one else cares about us, So I don't know, it's gonna be an interesting read, I think, given my work that I'm doing. But anyways, I have a few more books, but before that, I got this mug with this. Speaking of mortality, life begins at 40, and so does cosmetic surgery, bladder trouble, high fiber diets, liver spots, hair replacement treatments, sitz baths, eczema, and senility. So I think that's funny because I'm so young. But when I was checking this out, the woman, I thought she was my age, and I was like, oh, look at this mug. And she's like, I know, right? That's what it's like. And I was like, oh my God, you're actually 40. One day I'm going to be 40. So I think this is a funny little cute mug. And then I went to a show. I found this really cool goth rock band. I'm not going to shout them out because I don't want to dox myself. But I found this really cool goth rock band that's local to my area. And they sound just like, Susie and the Banshees, like The Cure. They just, oh my God, it was so good. And my mom used to go to all the, she would always tell me about growing up in that time and all the, the clubs and stuff. And so it was just so cool. So much fun to dance to. I love goth music. It's so much fun to dance to, just to it just feels so witchy. And so these are wristbands from that night. This one was to get into the venue, and this one is because I can drink. And then finally, do I have anything else I can show you? I got some DVDs actually, but they are up right now. You know, I'm gonna do a DVD tour in a different video, because that's a whole other thing. Second to last, I Am Curious Yellow. I actually haven't watched this movie. It's like this really controversial, I think Swedish, set of two movies. Yeah, Swedish. Yes. It has been acclaimed by critics as an important work of art in its honest and forthright portrayal of the social, political, and sexual problems of today's youth. Yes. So it was like this like socialist, like sexually liberated movie from Sweden back in like the 70s or something, that was super controversial. It's like an art house film. It's like a weird art house film that was like super controversial, got banned in the US. There was a screening of it at a local theater near me like 2 years ago, last year, and because there's two of them. There's I Am Curious Yellow and there's I Am Curious Blue. So this is just I Am Curious Yellow, which is I think the first one. But there was a screening of I Am Curious Yellow, and I had tickets, and then I just like was too depressed, and so I didn't go, which I'm very upset about. So this is the script. So and there's like pictures and stuff. Ooh, boobies. Hope I don't get banned. This is educational. So gotta watch. But I'm just, as a film, like, you know, as a fan of things like this, I thought it was a cool find. I found it in a vintage store. And then lastly, found this in the same vintage store. Albert Camus, Lyrical and Critical Essays. I liked The Stranger. I like Jean-Paul Sartre, existentialism. I lived in Paris, so I'm excited to read this. But I mainly just bought it because it's vintage and cool looking. And it was like $10. So not too bad. Yeah. I think next time I'm gonna do a DVD tour. Maybe. That's it. Bye-bye.